Hey everyone, thank you for everyone who's joined on so far. Danielle Smallwood here. We're going to get started at exactly 8 o'clock. So we just have a few more minutes. We're going to get started at exactly 8 o'clock. Hey everyone, it is exactly 8 p.m. I don't want to hold anyone up. So again, I want to say thank you to those who are on the webinar currently. This webinar is in regards to home ownership, the home buying process, home ownership in 90 days or less. The purpose of this webinar is to educate you on the home buying process. And just to tell you a little bit about myself, my name is Danielle J. Smallwood. I am a licensed realtor in PA. I service the Philadelphia area, Delaware County, as well as Bucks County area. And I am in the process of getting licensed in Delaware. I am currently licensed under Keller Williams Philly, which their brokerage is in South Philly. But again, I service the Philadelphia area, Bucks County area, Montgomery County area, as well as Delaware County. I primarily work with first-time home buyers, educating them on the home buying process, assisting them in the home buying process. I also work with second-time home buyers and investors as well. But this particular webinar is on home ownership, is on the home buying process, home ownership in 90 days or less. So throughout this webinar, if you have any questions, definitely feel free to put it in the chat. I will be doing a giveaway at the end. So if you stay on for the entire webinar, I will be doing a giveaway at the end. You will receive a special gift in regards to that. So again, if you have any questions throughout this webinar, again, feel free to put it in the chat. I will answer questions as I go. We'll also do a Q&A at the end as well. Also, let me know if you cannot hear me as well. There will not be a recording, Antoine, for this webinar. It's just live. But you have my contact information. So, if you have questions, I know we talk on social media, but you should have my email as well. So if you have any questions, definitely, reach out to me. But if you can hear me, if you cannot hear me, just type in the chat, say I can't hear you. Just let me know. I just want to make sure everyone can hear me. But we're going to go ahead and get started. cool. I'm gonna assume everyone can hear me. So again, this webinar is home ownership in 90 days or less. This webinar again is on the home buying process. My ultimate goal is to help you achieve your home ownership goals. So again, I primarily work with first-time home buyers. I love working with first-time home buyers. I love just, going through the process and educating a first-time home buyer through the process. And basically, once closing happens, you getting your keys and excited and happy of achieving your goal of home ownership. So there are steps to home ownership. The very first step is making a decision to buy. That second step is meeting with a realtor or agent. The third step is securing finance. And securing finance includes getting pre-approved, getting a mortgage, getting a proof of mortgage and everything like that. The fourth step is finding a home. The fifth step is making an offer. The sixth step is performing due diligence. The seventh step is protecting your asset. And the eighth step is actually making it to closing. Real estate agents perform 7 main roles. So our job throughout this process is we're going to perform 7 major roles in the home buying process. The very first one is to educate you about the market. Each market is different. So Philadelphia market can be very different from Delaware County market. Delaware County market can be very different from Bucks County or Montgomery County market. So our job is to educate you on the market that you're looking to buy in. The second very important thing is to analyze what your needs and wants are. As we all know, needs and wants are very, very different. So it's our job as agents, as realtors, is to analyze your needs and your wants. The third thing is to show you homes that fit your criteria. And we're able to show you homes basically off of analyzing your needs and wants. Coordinate the work of other professionals. Many homeowners or home buyers during the process really don't know all that entails, all that a real estate agent does behind the scenes. We basically coordinate a lot of things behind the scenes, whether it be handling documents with a mortgage company, introducing you to different inspection companies, handling with scheduling the home inspection and everything like that. Also dealing with the listing agent on the other side, negotiating on your behalf, getting you the best deal possible. The fifth thing is, again, negotiating on your behalf. Reviewing paperwork and deadlines. It's very important, whether whoever you use as an agent, it's very important that during your home buying process, you meet the deadlines that's in your agreement of sale. If you don't meet those deadlines, you could lose your deposit if you want to back out of the deal. So it's very important that you select an agent who's aware of deadlines, but it's also very important that they also make you aware of deadlines, and it's very important that you meet those deadlines throughout the home buying process as well. And another role that an agent does is solve any problems that may arise. During a transaction, there can be a lot of things that go wrong. There can be a lot of issues that arise, and our job as an agent, as realtors, is to basically put out those fires. Securing financing. So securing financing is basically getting pre-approved, and getting pre-approved is a major step in the home buying process. I know there are, some buyers out there that just want to look at homes without getting pre-approved. But the pre-approval is very important because it allows us as realtors to understand what your pre-approval amount is. Your pre-approval amount is basically, it tells us how much money the bank will allow you to borrow. You may have an idea in your mind that you want to borrow $250,000. When you go through that pre-approval process, the bank may only say, hey, we're only going to allow you to borrow $200,000. So if you're looking at, if you want to go look at $250,000 homes, but the bank is only allowing you to borrow $200,000, there's a gap. So you want to make sure you definitely get pre-approved before you start looking at homes. Again, the pre-approval process and getting pre-approved is very important because, again, it'll tell you how much money the bank will allow you to lend. There's no point of looking at $250,000 homes if the bank is only going to allow you to borrow $200,000. So again, that pre-approval part is very, very, very important. So once you've been pre-approved, you can basically go out and start looking at homes. So basically what you want to do is find your home, find your dream home, and you want to stay in your pre-approval amount. You also want to discuss your needs basically when you do a consultation with your agent. If you decide to work with me, after you've been pre-approved, I do an in-person home buyer consultation. So how it works with me is I'll do an initial phone consult. Once you say you're ready to buy, I do a mortgage lender. I do an introduction with a mortgage lender. And once you've been pre-approved, the lender will let me know, and then we'll basically meet in person and go in depth in the home buying process, discuss your needs, your wants, and basically hone in exactly on what you're looking for, whether it's area, bids and bath, etc. So basically, once that buyer consult is complete, we're going out and we're looking at homes. Once that in-person buyer consult is complete, we're going out, we're looking at homes. And once you've found your dream home, once you found the home that fits your needs, now it's time to write up an offer. So basically, how do you determine what's a good offer amount for a property? So we have some examples here. We have some examples here in regards to how to determine what's a good offer amount. So here you have a subject property of 123 Main Street in Philadelphia, PA. The property is a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom. It has a finished basement. The property is 1,650 square feet, fully renovated from top to bottom. So everything in the property is brand new. And the property also has central air. So let's determine what a fair price is. So how do we determine what a fair amount is to offer for a property? So what we do as agents is we look at properties that have recently sold that fit the same criteria as the subject property. So in this example here, we have 3 comps. Comps are properties that have recently sold. We have 6109 Blake Street, as well as 6211 Robin Street, as well as 6025 Jackson Street. So we have these 3 comparable properties, and our subject property is 123 Main Street. So let's go over the comps. Comparable properties: 6109 Blake Street. It sold for $140,000. The property is a 3-bedroom, 1.5 bathroom. It is 1,550 square feet. The property has no recent updates. It's listed as a handyman special, which means it needs some updating. It needs some type of work done to it. And it has radiator heat. That's a comparable property, number 1. The second comparable property is 6211 Robin Street. This property has sold for $170,000. It's a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bathroom property. The square footage is 1,725. The kitchen and bathroom was renovated last year. It has a finished basement and it has central air. Now let's go over 6025 Jackson Street. This sold for $175,000. This property is a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom property. The square footage is 1,650. Fully newly renovated, has central air, and it has a finished basement. So what's a fair price to offer this property? Let's see if we can get someone to put a price in the chat. What price do you think is a fair price just by looking at the subject property and having the 3 comps here? What would you offer on this property, 123 Main Street? Let's see if we can get some participation. I know it's quite a few of you on the webinar, so let's see if we can get some participation. What's a good a good offer amount for 123 Main Street just by looking at the comparable properties. If I could get an answer from one person, I got a gift for you on top of the gift that I'm giving at the end of the webinar. So you can type it in the chat or you can type it in the question and answer. Doesn't matter. Okay. So Deltrice, yep. That's a comparable property, yep. So I got a gift for you. I already got your email address. I'll reach out to you. I got a gift for you. So yes, so Deltrice said a fair offer amount would be $175,000, same details as Jackson Street, which she is 100% correct. So that's basically how you determine a offer amount. You look at the subject properties, see what that criteria is, and you look at comps. Again, comps is properties that have recently sold, and see what that same criteria is the subject property is the properties that have recently sold. So since 123 Main Street is has the same criteria as 6025 Jackson Street, basically that's how you know what to determine in regards to an offer. So again, Deltrice, I got a gift for you. So offer to close. So this is basically a timeline from the time you submit an offer to basically the time that you close on a property. So basically, when you write an offer, you want your offer to be strong because you want to get your offer accepted. So when submitting an offer, again, you want your offer to be strong, and you'll do that by reviewing comps, and basically that'll help you determine a fair offer amount. Once you've submitted your offer and the seller has accepted your offer, you want to put down a deposit. A deposit amount can range from $1,000 to $5,000, sometimes more depending on price point. So if you're buying a property that's over $250,000, your deposit amount will be over $5,000. So just FYI about that. If you're buying a property between like 100 and 220, your deposit amount can range from between 1,000 and 5,000. You may also be required to put down a second deposit, but in most cases, you just have to put down an initial deposit, which again can range from between 1,000 and 5,000, especially if you're purchasing a property, that's under 250,000. So once that deposit is in, you will have an inspection period, and you will negotiate repairs after you complete your inspection, your home inspection. So completing inspections is very important. I recommend everyone to get a home inspection. I recommend that everyone also get a sewer scope. So there are inspections that I recommend that my clients get. One is a general home inspection. The other, especially if you're using financing, you'll have to get a termite inspection, a radon test, a sewer scope, and that's about it. Just those 4 inspections there: your general home inspection, termite inspection, radon test, as well as a sewer scope. And the sewer scope is very important, and I recommend that my clients get it because that'll tell you how efficient and effectively the plumbing is running underground. I can tell you now, I had a deal fall apart because I had a client get a sewer scope, and initially she didn't want to. Had a client get a sewer scope done on a property back in July. Come to find out, the plumbing underground was terrible and it was a clog, and the seller did not want to fix it. So basically that deal fell apart because there was a clog in the drain and the seller was not willing to fix it. So that's why I recommend a sewer scope, because if she did not get a sewer scope, she would have gone through the home buying process and purchased that property where now that property has plumbing issues, and she would have found out later on down the line. And instead of finding out later on down the line, she found out upfront before buying a property and finding out, well, this property has a sewer line issue, that the seller does not want to fix, and we were not able, the seller and the buyer was not able to come to an agreement on repairs. So my client, which I represented the buyer, was able to back out of that deal because we were not able to come to an agreement on repairs, especially with that, because in my opinion, that's a big issue, especially if your plumbing is not running properly and effectively and efficiently. That's an issue. So again, I recommend all my clients get sewer scopes done, no matter what kind of property. And that property was a rehab property. So I recommend my clients get a sewer scope on, whether it's a rehab property, whether it's a property, you know, that a seller has lived in, but it's, you know, it's move-in ready. I just recommend that you get a sewer scope just to be on the safe side and make sure you're aware of, you know, how effective the plumbing is running from the property to outside to the street line, and, you know, underground the home and everything. So those inspections are very important. So once the inspection is completed, you have a period of 5 days from where you negotiate repairs. So basically the negotiation happens between buyer and seller in regards to repair, but I advocate on your behalf as a realtor. So whoever is, whether it's me or whether it's another realtor representing you in the transaction, they're advocating on your behalf in regards to the repairs, what repairs you want done, and basically trying to come to an agreement in regards to repairs. So once you come to an agreement on repairs, basically you fall into the mortgage commitment time frame. So basically a mortgage commitment confirms that you've officially been approved for a mortgage. We know up front you get pre-approved, but once you receive a mortgage commitment, that's basically saying where you've fully been, you know, approved for that mortgage. So once you receive your mortgage commitment, during that time, you'll also have an appraisal, and an appraisal will tell you the exact value of a home. So, you know, we went over comps when an offer was submitted, but an appraisal will also tell you the absolute value of a home as well. So that'll be done as well. And once all of those things are done, it's time to close. So closing is basically where you'll sign a ton of documents, basically stating that now you're the owner of the property. And once all of those documents are signed, you'll basically receive the keys to closing. The keys to the home. So understand, from offer to close, this timeline can be a 45-day period. Sometimes it can be a 30-day period. Sometimes it can be a 60-day period. It all depends on what's written up in the contract. And it also depends on if the property is already vacant. So let's say you're buying a home that's already vacant, it's fully renovated. That can close in a 45-day period. Let's do another example where you're buying a property where a seller was actually living in the property. So if a seller is actually living in a property, and at that time they may have to find somewhere else to live, that may take a 60-day period instead of a 45-day period, because now they have to, of course, find another home to buy or find somewhere to rent, etc. So that may, be a little bit longer of a process, but it's not that long of a process, and it's not that common for, a closing to take 60 days in that type of situation. So that's just a general concept on the offer to close timeline. Again, it can be a quick process. So basically, I'll say it is a quick process from the time you submit the offer to the time you close. There's a lot of moving pieces. And one thing that I tell my clients is you just have to be prepared, because it's a lot of moving pieces and it's a lot of moving parts, because I'll be requesting things from you as well as the lender will be requesting things from you at the same time. So you'll be getting pulled in different directions, and it can be overwhelming. But I just try to prepare my clients, especially once we've written an offer up, I just try to prepare them then. And even before then, just letting them know that basically once your offer gets accepted, it moves very, 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 very fast. So that's just a heads up on it. Any questions at all? Any questions? If you have questions, you can type them in the chat, or You can type them in questions and answers. But if you have any questions, definitely feel free to just type them in and I'll answer them as I go. So inspections and due diligence. When I write up contracts, it's normally a 15-day period. It's normally between a 10 to 15-day period, inspection period, to complete all inspections and do due diligence. So again, those inspections would be your regular home inspection, the radon test, the termite inspection, and the sewer scope. They're all not mandatory, but I definitely recommend that you get all 4 of those inspections because it'll benefit you in the long run. Protecting your asset. How can you protect your asset? So there are a few ways that you can protect your asset. One way is getting homeowners insurance. If you're using financing to buy a home, you have to get homeowners insurance. So God forbid you have a flooding in the basement, or God forbid, you have a fire in the property, that homeowners insurance will help you cover the cost of repairs. Excuse me, you will have a deductible. It won't be that much depending on what type of insurance company that you go with. But again, that homeowners insurance is there to benefit you, is there to help you, God forbid, anything serious happens. Another way to protect your asset is getting life insurance. So if you have, your job may have life insurance, but I definitely recommend that you get life insurance outside of your job. So God forbid you lose your job, or whatever the case may be, you will still have life insurance outside of your job. So basically, if you do lose your job, or if something happens where you're no longer working, you'll still be able to have life insurance outside of that, the life insurance that you had with your job. So that's another way to protect your assets. So again, God forbid, something happens with the job where you're no longer working, you'll still have that life insurance, so it can protect your asset. God forbid you lose your job, or God forbid, something major happens, or a life situation happens where you're no longer able to make those payments. You have your life insurance, as well as your homeowner's insurance. So those are 2 ways that you can protect your asset. So closing and settlement. So this is the fun part. This is actually the fun part after you've gone through the entire process of getting through inspections, getting through your offer being accepted, getting through the deposit phase, getting through the appraisal phase, getting through the mortgage commitment phase. This is the part that you really want to get to, which is closing/settlement, which is receiving the clear to close from the lender. So this normally happens about a week before closing, or also sometimes it can happen about 2 to 3 days before closing. But again, I've had some lenders, I've had it happen the actual day of closing, literally 2 hours before closing. But this is what you want to get to. You want to get there clear to close, and you want to get to the closing/settlement table. So basically, the clear to close is you'll receive that from the lender, and it basically allows the lender to close out the transaction, and basically they're able to fund your deal, where you're now able to get the keys. Settlement is based at settlement. Again, you'll have closing costs where you'll have to bring a check. But also the lender, if you have to bring a check, the lender will tell you how much you need to bring to closing. And basically that's where, again, you'll sign all of those documents, basically stating that now you own the property. And that's where you'll get your keys to the property. So in summary, we're coming up to the end here. So in summary, buying a home is one of the biggest purchases that you'll ever make in your life. Once you've made the decision to buy, you definitely want to contact the realtor. Me, I prefer, but if you don't choose me, it's fine. I'm not offended. There are a bunch of great realtors out here. But again, you want to get pre-approved, and you want to have that buyer consultation, whether it's an initial buyer phone consult or whatever the case may be. Second step is you definitely want to get pre-approved. The third step is once you've been pre-approved, you definitely want to start house shopping. After you found the home that you love, you want to submit an offer on the home. Then you want to complete all your inspections and due diligence and negotiate any repairs if needed. So again, your realtor will advocate on your behalf in regards to negotiating repairs. You want to finalize your paperwork with the lender. So like I said previously, during that home buying period, especially once your offer has been accepted, a lot happens and you'll be getting pulled in multiple directions. So I just want to make sure, once you're ready to buy, just be aware that once your offer is accepted, you'll be getting pulled into many different directions, whether it be from your realtor or whether it be from your lender. You'll be getting pulled in a lot of different directions. A lot of people will be asking different things from you. So just make sure you're prepared. You want to make sure you protect your assets. So again, whether it's, well, you'll have to get homeowners insurance if you're using financing, but definitely make sure you have life insurance outside of your job, just to, like I said, God forbid anything happens, you want to still make sure, that asset is protected in any way, shape, or form. And then it's settlement/key day. Any questions at all? Any questions? Any questions? So that is the end. It was pretty brief. If anyone has any questions or need any clarity on anything, please feel free to type it in the chat or type it in the Q&A. Or feel free to send me an email. All of my contact information is here. My email, phone number. I have to update my website. I actually have a new website that just launched today. I have to update the URL. So that'll take you to my old website. But any questions at all? Any questions at all? Any questions? Deltrice, I'm gonna email you in regards to your gift also. So just keep an eye out for that email. No questions? If you got any questions, type it in the chat. And for the giveaway that I have for staying on the webinar the entire time, again, this was a pretty quick webinar. If you need clarity in any way, shape, or form in regards to the home buying process, or if you have questions and you don't want to exit here, feel free to set up a phone consultation with me. I'm happy to, answer any questions that you may have, assist you in any way that I can, especially in regards to the home buying process. So definitely feel free to set up a phone consult with me if you have any questions, or feel free to DM me or shoot me an email or something, so I can get your questions answered. Yeah, so what are some reasons on not getting pre-approved besides credit? One of the major reasons people cannot get pre-approved is credit. Honestly, there aren't any other real reasons. It could be if you just recently went through bankruptcy or something. That's one. But in most cases, it's mostly credit. So with many of the lenders that I have on my team, I do have a few lenders on my team that I work very closely with, and they are local. I only work with local lenders just because it's much easier to get them on the phone, and I'm able, if I call them now, I could basically get them on the phone. And if I had a client that wanted to get pre-approved right now, they would basically answer my phone call to get the client pre-approved ASAP. So the lenders that I have on my team, the minimum credit score you need is a 580. I didn't go over this in in the slide presentation, but the minimum credit score you need is a 580. But the better your credit score, the better it is for you, because the better interest rates you can get. So again, the better your credit score, the better it benefits you. But again, 580 and above is better. If you want to be in good programs, good lending programs, you want to be a 620 and above. And there are grants and stuff available that can help you when buying a home. Philadelphia has a $10,000 grant. Delaware County has a $5,000 grant. And a lot of lenders do have grant programs, special grant programs available within their lending program. So those grants can also help you with down payment and closing cost assistance and everything like that. Also, a seller can help you with closing costs, and that is called Seller's Assist. So especially when I'm working with first-time home buyers, a lot of times, well, I've yet to not ask, well, only once. I didn't ask for Seller's Assist because my clients really didn't need it. But I always ask for Seller's Assist. And Seller's Assist is basically you asking the seller to assist with closing costs. That's it. So if you have a FHA loan, you can ask for up to 6% Seller's Assist, and that up to 6% is 6% of the sales price. If you're using a conventional loan, the maximum amount of Seller's Assist you can get is 3%, and that's 3% of the sales price. So if you're buying a home for $100,000, I'm just using this as an easy number example. So if you're buying a home for $100,000, 6% is $6,000. So you can ask for up to 6% in Seller's Assist if you're using an FHA loan. If you're using a conventional loan, again, it's up to 3%. So out of that $100,000 in purchase price, you're asking for $3,000 in closing cost assistance from the seller. And that's basically a kickback from the seller to you. So they're basically giving you money to help with closing costs. But yep, so those are some reasons, like bankruptcy. It could be child support. That's about it. But a lot of times child support really doesn't affect anything. But it's mainly credit that'll really like mess you up the most. It's too early, forgot. Got on social media. And you know I'm a jack your name up. I know we spoke on the phone, but I'm sorry, I'm terrible with names. But I definitely do remember our conversation. I know it's not, I want to say nod to Jay, but I know that's not it. And I'm sorry, because I already know I'm jacking it up. I'm sorry. But it's okay. Listen, you made it on the webinar, but you have my number and everything and my contact information. So like, if you have questions, definitely feel free to reach out. I know we did a phone consult already. So the difference between conventional and FHA. So FHA is, well, you can use conventional as a first-time home buyer as well. So basically, FHA is more so quote unquote first-time home buyer loan, where you have to put 3.5% down, minimum of 3.5% down. A lot of first-time home buyers use that program. When I purchased my home a long time ago, I used the FHA. I have an FHA loan for that property, where I just had to put down 3.5%. Conventional loan, it's not necessarily a first-time home buyer's loan, but a first-time home buyer can use it. So with a conventional loan, the conventional loan is a little different because it's not like federally backed by the government, like FHA. And FHA has more stipulations than a conventional loan. So an FHA loan is more strict in the condition of a property than a conventional loan. A conventional loan is a little bit more flexible. A FHA loan is very strict in regards to condition. So like if you have chipped paint, FHA inspector is going to come out and they're going to request that chipped paint be fixed. Now, if you have a conventional loan, appraiser or inspector is not going to stress about chip paint or anything like that. So with FHA, there are a little bit more stipulations in regards to, again, the condition of the property. With FHA, you only have to put down 3.5%, a minimum of 3.5%. With a conventional loan, though, there are conventional loans out there where you only have to put down 3%. There are some conventional loans where you only have to put down 5%. A lot of people think because if you go the conventional route that you have to put down 20% or more, and that's not actually the case. Especially if you're living inside the property, there are programs available where you have to put down 3 or 5 or 10% or something like that. But the only time you're putting down 20% or more on a conventional loan is if you're using that property as an investment property and you're not actually living in the property. So those are times where you have to put down more than 20%. But if you're living inside of the property, you only have to put down, depending on the type of conventional program that it is, you may have to only put down 3% or 5% or 10% or something like that. But again, it all depends on the program type, the conventional loan program type. Yeah, don't be stressed. You can call me. Just call me. Or you can call me tomorrow or shoot me an email. We'll talk about it. We'll figure it out. Because I know you're not in Philly. I know you're not in Philly and you're down south, so we can definitely, figure something out. Or talk it out. Don't be stressed. Don't be stressed. But yeah, if you still got my number, just give me a call. Or shoot me an email. But I definitely still have your number. So if I don't hear from you, I'll just reach out to you. I'll follow up with you, and we could just talk through it. I don't want you to be stressed out. But any other questions? And for those of you who stayed on to the end, this is what I want you to do to be in the drawing for the gift that I'm giving away. That is, I want you to email me feedback in regards to the presentation. And from that feedback that I get, basically, I will select someone to receive that free gift. And that gift is basically an Amazon gift card. So for anyone who has stayed on the entire time, stayed on to the end, if you could just email me feedback, whether it's good or bad, whether if you liked the webinar, you felt that it was informative, even if you didn't like the webinar and you felt like, it's ways that I can improve, I definitely would love the feedback. So if you could just shoot me an email, my email address is dsmallwoodre@gmail.com. So if you could just shoot me an email, and that'll enter you in the drawing to receive the free Amazon gift card. And Deltrice, you're already getting a gift card. That's your gift for answering that question. But if you want to enter the drawing again, you can. But if you could just shoot me an email with feedback, that'll definitely enter you in the drawing, and I will select the winner by Thursday. So if you could shoot me an email tonight or tomorrow with the feedback, that would be greatly appreciated. And I'll select the winner, and I'll send an email out to everyone who emails me. But the winner will be selected on Thursday. You'll find out who the winner is on Thursday. But if you don't have any other questions, we can go ahead and end. But if you do have any questions, again, definitely feel free to type it in the chat and I will answer them. Also, I will be having another webinar next month. And I will have a friend of mine who I've done webinars with in the past. She's a financial coach. She has her own financial coaching business. She teaches financial literacy. And it's basically, that webinar will be on basically financial literacy and how to prepare financially for the home buying process, for the home, for your dream home. So if you're interested in that, just be on the lookout for more information in regards to that. More information will be coming out most likely end of this week, early next week, in regards to that webinar. So if that's something that you're interested in, definitely just keep an eye out for that in regards to more information in regards to that webinar. And again, that's just on the financial aspect of preparing for the home buying process and financial literacy. But I'll wait a few more minutes to see if there are any other questions. And if not, we can go ahead and conclude. And again, if you want to be entered for the draw, I'm sorry, my eyes itch. I don't know if it's my allergies or what. But if you want to be entered for the free Amazon gift card, definitely just shoot me an email with the feedback. That would be greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. Greatly appreciated. Again, the feedback can be good or bad. I'm not offended. I'm just looking to get better. So I'll hold on like another minute. Oh, my eye bothering me. I'll hold on like another minute, and if no more questions come through, I'll just go ahead and we can end. All right, so since no more questions came through, thank you for being on the webinar. I hope the information was helpful. I hope the information was informative. If you have any questions, definitely just email me or shoot me a text. I'm happy to answer any questions, happy to help in any way that I can. But definitely, if you're interested in entering a drawing for the free gift card, the Amazon gift card, just shoot me an email with feedback in regards to this webinar here, and I'll enter you in a drawing, and the winner will be selected Thursday, and everyone will find out who the winner is on Thursday. And Deltrice, I'll send you an email tonight in regards to your gift. So again, thank you everyone for being on. I greatly appreciate it, and have a great evening. Thank you.